It's great to see everyone returning to our channel and checking out the new video. This video is here to help you level up and improve your life. Enjoy the video and feel your power grow gradually over the course of your life.
Doesn't it feel better when you're not going to like this very much, but when you're a little hungry, doesn't food taste better? And when you're a little thirsty, doesn't something to drink feel better? And when you're a little tired, doesn't your bed feel extra good? There is something about this focusing that without knowing what you don't want, you can't know what you do want. You just wait too long sometimes to get yourself into alignment. So then it is a longer, harder stretch, but it doesn't ever have to be again. So think about being a magnet, and meaning you're attracting to you, and let's use the words all cooperative components then, or all things that are vibrationally like that which is like unto itself is drawn. So and that's just really a fine conversation, isn't it? I'm a magnet. But now let's add to that scenario the fact that you are source energy and a physical being, and that you have potentially two vibrational vantage points, both of which are magnets. So here is the source energy part of you, magnet, and here's the physical you, magnet. And that explains how you get torn apart and why it has to be so dramatic. Mm-hmm. Did you get that? In other words, so the way it all fits together is your source energy, a part of you is here in this body. You explore and you ask, but you don't always go. But when you ask, that part of you becomes what you've asked for, and that magnet is summoning like things to it. But you're beating the drum of not enough. You're beating the drum of the betrayal. You're beating the drum of the injustice. You're beating the drum of the unfairness. So you're keeping that active. So now two very powerful aspects of you. And in fact, the more you know what you don't want, the more you ask for what you do want. So the more this calls you in a strong way. But because law of attraction. So law of attraction is the mechanism that is at the basis of that upheaval that you were describing. Mm-hmm. Isn't that good to know? Mm-hmm. And doesn't it make sense that the only way to stop the upheaval is to relax, get into that general place of well-being, allow yourself in the vortex, so that, can you imagine how good life would feel if that magnet that you are was all standing in the same place? So that law of attraction is gathering all of the cooperative components to that which is you, to that which is you, to that which is you, to that which is you. That's when ease and flow becomes the mantra of your life experience. We just thought it would be nice to point that out. And we know you understand it, having lived everything that you've lived. Did you know that there is an in the vortex version of every one of them that you could be having a wonderful relationship with? Seriously. In other words, everyone you know, you have an in the vortex version of them. And so if you're noticing them slipping away, that's not the version you're having a party with. If you follow your heart, you're syncing up with the wholeness of who you are. Yeah. That if you follow your heart, you tap into the energy that you really are. And that's the only place that you can find joy. In other words, joy is, that feeling of joy is alignment. And the feeling of not joy is pulling apart from who you are. So you speak it like it's an option that we are no longer willing to afford you. In other words, you say, if I follow my heart, and we say, not if, when, since I follow my heart. Let's make it a more defined, for sure thing. Since I follow my heart. So when I follow my heart, which means I go into the vortex, and now I'm aligned with the in the vortex version of them. But they're irritated because I'm not doing what they want. I'm following my heart. But if I don't notice that they're irritated, I stay in the vortex. But if I notice they're irritated, now I'm out of the vortex and I'm no longer following my heart. Right. In other words, you can't have it both ways. No. When you're in, and so the key to this is you got to care more about being in the vortex than you care about their response to you. That's what unconditional love is. Unconditional love is being in vibrational alignment with love, because that's who you are and that's what you choose, and allowing all others to just deal with it. And they either will or they won't. But do you know, the likelihood of them coming into the vortex and joining you is much greater if you maintain your vortex and don't try to please them than if you keep scrambling out and trying to do what they think. Because if you hear all of the flawed premises otherwise, if you go out of the vortex, if you don't follow your heart and instead you do what you think they need you to do, what happens is you train them into only feeling good when you behave the way they want you to. So there are so many things wrong with that, most of which they never have a chance of finding out about their vortex, because they're not ever expected to. In other words, the best thing that anybody could ever do for another person is to just disregard how they feel. That seems backwards to you, doesn't it? Oh, I thought I was supposed to stand on my head and please them in as many different ways as possible. We say when you do that, then they don't have to learn about their vortex. They just look you up and ask you to stand on your head and please them in some way. And then they get a moment of satisfaction, which they call happiness, which isn't even close to happiness. And then they hold you hostage because you need to always be there to perform in exactly the right way, or they won't be happy. And so now their happiness is dependent upon your behavior, and you're both trapped and you don't like each other anymore. Often, unconsciously, you're getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And then these things feel like astonishing synchronicity, when what happened is you were ready to be 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 ready. It's the reason that we want you just for a little while to consider that you're not thinking thoughts, you're receiving thoughts. And that there are those who are in vibrational alignment with you who know what you're asking for and who know right where you are. There is nothing unusual about any of this. This is the way it is all supposed to be. Your inner being knows what your requests are. That's what Esther meant when she said to you, formulate what you want to talk about, or just come in your knowingness of what it is, and it will be part of the conversation here today. She hears it in seminar after seminar after seminar after seminar, because your inner being knows who you are and what you want and where you are in readiness for it. And really the most significant part of your question and our answer lies in your readiness to receive, because the timing of that could have been in an entirely different time, but it all had to do with your readiness for it. You see what we're getting at? Imagine that your inner being is all-knowing, as your inner being is, about you and what's in your heart and what you've lived and even the contrast you've lived and what you've evolved to as a result of it. What if your inner being knows all that you've become? What if all of that had already happened? What is a manifestation anyway? It's an awareness. It's a perception. What is time anyway? It's awareness or a perception. And so it's a beautiful thing when a group of people can come together like you all have. And here we are in this room, and you think you're experiencing, and you are, this physical environment, but there is another environment that you are tapped into at the same time, which holds everything that you are about, everything that you want to understand, and everything that you want to know. And as we visit with you about things that at many levels of your being you already know, and as we sort of cajole you and kid you and play with you and reach you through the things that Esther finds words to say that we mean, as you little by little, even in the framework of a morning like this, find vibrational alignment with who you really are, now you're ready for more of that, what you want to call divine timing. Divine timing, where you're just in the receptive mode. Everything in your vortex is ready to be received by you now. There's not this holding pattern ready to be revealed. The reveal button is on. We're all up here. Reveal it all. Give it all to him. Give him all that he can receive. All that he can receive. All that he's vibrationally ready for. So sometimes it's helpful for you to Have a little timing which causes you to receive back some recordings, and have a little insight that, oh look, some of them are rewound and some of them aren't. And then something that occurs to you, maybe there's something here for me, and then a willingness to follow that because it's strong enough to put it in, and led through the path of least resistance to the things that you want most, to a manifestation that you were yearning for and asking for. But when yearning is stronger than believing, you don't have the experience. And the universe has the ability to deliver to you perfect timing on all things. So we're not asking you to get into the revelation mode. We're asking you to get into the receiving mode. And we're not telling you, you've got to find perfect timing for the revelation, because the revelation is always coming. It's always a good time by our standards. It's always a good time for you to receive what you want to call the miracle, which we call the child's play, easiest thing in the whole world to give you anything and everything that you've been asking for. You just got to be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. And we don't mean that you should be ready for it. We don't mean that at all. We don't mean you need to get ready. We just mean you don't want to receive things that you're not ready for. You know what happens when you receive something you're not ready for? You freak out, or you miss it altogether. So this is a conversation about your readiness.
We're delighted to see you all the way through the video. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and let us know in the comments section below. There is a lot of love for you here.